And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. I am your host, Rhonda Klch, and we are in studio today. And I love when I can bring in amazing, empowering women. And our next guest is Janine Jaycox. And I am so thankful that you took the time to come in today. So thank you. First of all, I love what you do. So obviously the Credit Authority focuses on businesses and consumers that have really financial concerns. And when we have somebody in the business community like yourself that really could educate us on some potential mistakes, I would love the opportunity to pick your brain. So that's what we're going to do today. So thank you again for coming in. So we are with, in studio today, Janine Jaycox. Hello.
Thank you for having me.
So you do business mediation. And that's not a term that we hear very often. So for those that might be listening, that might be thinking about going into business, have recently gone into business, or even those that are very seasoned in the industry, give us a little idea of what you do and what business mediation is.
So business mediation is an excellent model that any industry, new or old, can utilize. The mediation process is meant to resolve any conflicts. It helps create new relationships, build relationships, foster better relationships with clients that already have issues maybe that they're facing. And mediation can be used in any industry. We use it for a variety of industries. It could be clients to companies. It could be employees, employer, whatever conflict you're looking to resolve.
So when I'm hearing you speaking about conflict in business, do you need to be an attorney to be a mediator?
No.
You're like,
question.
No.
Very good question. Mediation, there is mediation training you do. Obviously, you would like to have a business background so you can understand the dynamics of a business, how operating agreements work. You need to have the ability to foster, your clients' relationships and to help them get to the resolve that they're looking for. But no, you do not need a law degree. A legal background definitely is a help, and there's always tons of mediation trainings, just like the legal departments use.
Okay, excellent. So if I am thinking about opening a new business and it was recommended, let's just say, from my attorney or from my accountant, I'm assuming you work with multiple centers of influence, why would they recommend that I sit with you up front?
The benefit, and that's a very smart attorney or accountant you would have.
There you go. I only work with the best.
The biggest thing is that when you start a partnership, what happens is each person who has their own ideas, they could be an entrepreneur that's never ran in that business field before, it's a new industry, or it could be someone who's already seasoned. When they have their ideas of how a business ran, but they haven't ran a business, it runs amok. Honestly, starting out with mediation gives each person what their goals are, what they'd like to get to. You kind of go through beginning to end where they'd like their business to start off and what their future goals would be.
So in other words, if I'm understanding correctly, a new business owner may bring you in specifically because you can help fill, I don't want to say the void, but fill the gaps where maybe there's a hole in their business plan or in their business model, and you're creating structure for that particular client and maybe some goals.
100%. And designating the goals and roles of each person. Sometimes one partner is the sweat equity partner that's got all the ability and they're excellent at what they do. And then the other partner is the business mind. And that causes a lot of conflict because each person is just as important as the other, except there's a lot of conflict. So we have to make sure that each partner respects each other, and we create plans that there's checks and balances so each partner is completely involved in the decision making, but knows their role, because you can't cross-roll. You have to be fully involved, but without cross-rolling and stepping on toes.
So I would be the first to tell you that I am always the 80 in that 80-20 rule. Doesn't matter what I do. It might be because I am always hyper-focused, right? So for somebody like myself, I decide I'm going to get into business with somebody and all my intentions are good and their intentions are good. Do you maintain a relationship with the client so that, let's just say now it's a year later and we need a refresher and we need somebody to come in from the outside to say, hey guys, we set you up like this. What does it look like today? And do we need to make any modifications? So do you get involved from that perspective as well?
100%. Some of my clients bring me on at the inception of their business, and I have a lot of clients that I do work continually throughout. Because that's a great question. What happens is you kind of get comfortable in your roles. All of a sudden start, stepping on someone's toes, looking at the bigger picture, and the other person's not on the same page, on the same track. The key is to keep you on the same track at the same pace and accomplish the goals that you're looking to.
So I'm a business owner and I think I am awesome. And of course, I think that I am always correct. But my partner, on the other hand, may have a different set of opinions. What happens when you are challenged with a difficult client that they think that they're smarter than you?
That's just a funny question. The answer is I'm smarter than them. No, in all seriousness, you have to let them understand that nobody is ever 100% correct, and it's not that anybody is wrong, it's just a difference of opinion. So the key here is just that you listen to each other, no matter what. Mediation is a collaboration between both parties, or it could be a two-party business partnership, it could be a 20 business, partner businessship.
Partnership.
Yeah,
it's okay. We get you.
Anyway, so the point is that what you do is you listen to everybody. It's a give and take, and everybody has some input that they want to put in, and you come to a resolution. Some of my clients like when I give them some suggestions and say, these are some options we can do to reach that goal. And honestly, mediation is the best way to go because you're not litigating. It's not costing the same. It's very cost effective. It's private. It's in your office. It's Zoom. It's whatever platform you need. With mediation, honestly, there's no loss, and if someone is not completely secure with the process, I completely explain everything we do, how we do it, and I'm always available for any of my clients.
Now, what happens when you're dealing, because again, you're in that business sector, you're dealing with a very large company. Do you ever get called in from, I call it the C-suite, right? The CEO, the CFO, the COO, there's 100 little acronyms in between. Do you ever get contacted by somebody in that position where they say, we're experiencing a challenge with the business owner and we need you to come in because they're just not being reasonable?
100%. That is one of the things that become challenging for the business and the people that are running the businesses. Each business takes a nice team to make it work. When there's a conflict with an owner who has, hey, it's my business, I started it, and they've really grown exponentially, and they're not realizing that their business has to take the same path, what we do there is we meet with all the parties involved, we sit down, and once again, it's not criticizing, it's not about saying someone's right or wrong, it's really about listening to what the end result is that they need to accomplish. So a lot of times an entrepreneur who is an amazing person at what they do, they don't fully get the bigger picture and the financial side. So we do trainings. We actually sit with them and train them on how to get the bigger picture, make sure the reports are done. It's a lot of follow-up on anything that they need.
How long is somebody normally with you? So if there's a client that wants to engage you for service, is it something that's quick or is it something that is done over a period of time?
So it's based on the requirements. Some, like I said, it could be maybe a one-off where they just need to have something created because they're starting a new business and they're not sure how much more need they're going to need. I have some clients that I do, a monthly retainer, if you'd like to call it that, I'm on staff with them where if they have any questions, sometimes it's a client to the company, it's a vendor, it's an employee-employer relationship. A lot of times, and I hate to say it, that's one of the biggest conflicts is you can have an amazing employee or an amazing employer, and there's just such a disconnect. What happens is that you have to be able to sit down, hear the person's concerns, make sure you're following protocol, make sure that, all the procedures are in place. As far as the legal side of it, you could really get your business in trouble by a stupid comment. So we're very conscientious about being compliant. We also help our clients pretty much create like a business program for them, and what's appropriate.
I love that. Now, would you say a majority of your clients are small business owners, medium? Like, is there a certain niche that you work in?
So we can actually work with any size company. We do a lot of small business. There were a lot of startup businesses during COVID, which was great. And like I said, people that really didn't know how business flows. So it's been very good for that. Some of my larger companies, it's not so much the size, it's what are your needs. And honestly, mediation is the same, no matter small or large. The end result's going to be the same. You just treat everybody with respect, and that's the key, no matter how large of a company you may or may not be.
So obviously our show is always focused around, credit and budgeting and money management, right? Hence the name, the Credit Authority.
100%.
What kind of devastation can be created if a client doesn't follow your path and your expertise?
That is an excellent question because honestly, financial, reports are very important, and what you're spending to get to the end result. What happens is when you litigate, it can be extremely costly. Mediation can be done flat rate based on what the situation is. It can be, hourly. We have different programs and we customize it based to what your needs are. But without a doubt, litigation polarizes the companies. It polarizes your employees. What you want to do is look at what your needs are, be assessed, and then what we do is we customize what your plan should be.
I love it. Well, again, we are in studio today with our guest, Janine Jaycox, a business mediation specialist, and we have amazing guests coming up. So thank you so much for being in the studio with us today. It's been amazing. I love our women and our women entrepreneurs. So thank you for stopping in.
Thank you so much.